first step into the chamber. You can see this. You almost run into it. In the middle of this chamber, there is a small, like 2-foot pedestal, and what looks to be a disc, a stone disc about that wide and about 2 feet from edge to edge. That is resting on it, but at an angle. It looks old. It looks weathered, and there appears to be a spiral of runes, like 2 sets of them that kind of curve inward around each other before merging in the center with one singular sigil where they meet.
Are these arcane glyphs, or is this language?
These runes, this whole incantation, this enchantment, or whatever that sits in this, is old, pre-Calamity, Age of Arcanum level magic. It is dormant currently. It looks like there is some sort of something that is required to infuse this object with power, or to get it to use whatever its enchantment is. The more you look over it, you realize the power is beyond anything you've cast. The nature of it seems to be conjuration, and it seems to have a lot of the base runes that you've used to manipulate fire, you've used to manipulate earth. It's elemental in nature. And you continue to look over it and get the sense that this is triggered by some sort of there's a physical material that needs to be brought to this table, or brought as part of this ritual, and in doing so would conjure some sort of powerful elemental force.
And what you told me was that studying this thing, that it seems to require elements to set it in motion? How did you describe it?
As you're getting closer and taking the moment to, because your Arcana is not an immediate thing. It's a slow process of study.
Well, somebody's taking my brain's good.
There's a heavy elemental conjuring that this is capable of doing. It's very old, primal magic. Looking at the stone and the stains and the interior of these runes, there is distinctly a dark brown tint to elements of this table. As you kind of go and scrape some of it with your fingernail, it flakes off, and it has a consistency you're familiar with, that of a coagulated blood.
Ooh. This pedestal, are we going to just leave it?
Well,
what difference does it make?
What are your goals? Your goal is what? To...
I was only curious about the orb. It just seemed so...
You know what Avantika talked about. You know what she wanted. You think this has nothing to do with that?
The temple I was in before had a recessed spot for the sphere. That just seems like a rune, right? Like a symbol.
Yeah, but if that was some sort of lock, you want to put the key in that lock?
No.
Do you feel any different?
I do not. Listen, this is more your thing than mine, but aren't you at least curious about what this pedestal does?
Yeah, I have some ideas and I am curious, but I want to know what you intend.
You still have your...
Well, I don't...
These come in threes, yeah?
Yeah, I don't think it has anything to do with the sphere. It's not like the lock or the temple that I saw before. The top of this pedestal is covered in rust?
No.
Blood?
Yeah.
Aren't you the least bit curious what a little drippy drip might do?
I'm always curious. Can I count on you to return the favor?
Always.
So you suffer 3 points of damage, and as you place your hand down on it, you see this dull red glow around the hand that's placed on the table. As you kind of pull your hand up and look, the runes where the blood has splattered have begun to give a faint glow. You glance over and you can see a faint matching dull red glow on one of the runes across the way, just barely peeking through some of the gently shifting seaweed. And looking down at this table, you need a lot of blood to continue to do this.
No.
We saw a pile of corpses. We saw a pile of corpses.
How much damage are you willing to take, guys?
About 9 more.
I'll take 20.
Oh. What are you fucking doing, Luffy? Flopping off your
As
arm?
you guys begin just carving into your hands,
I'm gonna cast Cure Wounds. Is there?
the blood clouds the water around you, and then you watch as it is drawn like a magnet to the tabletop.
Before this shit happened.
And as it begins to sit itself in, each of the runes begins to pull in, with each one glowing another rune in the room. It's almost full. The table isn't there yet. You have about maybe 2/3 to 3/4 or so. The room itself now is beginning to just generally have a red hue to it as each of these runes is beginning to fill the area.
Is there a chance that we're giving this to her?
I'm following your lead here. This is your quest. I have things that I need to do that are not here, and I am going to need help.
I understand. I think we're good. We can go.
Okay.
We understand each other. Cut palm to cut palm.
Blood brother is so cool.
And I'll start to head out of the chamber.
Follow forward.
You guys make your way towards the Squall Eater, hail your team, and are brought back up onto the ship. The sails are unfurled, and as Orly turns to you and goes, "Where we going, Captain?"
Make for the archipelago.
The Gravid Archipelago. Alrighty.
That's not where we were going before.
Sure it is.
I thought we were going to the other
You're not
place.
there.
Oh, okay.
And the ship unfurls the functional sails on it and slowly limps its way in the direction of the archipelago. You travel for a good hour or so before you notice the darkened, or the sky that was somewhat, cloudy, begin to go rapidly darker, roughly near where you were. And you watch the clouds begin to swell and release rain. It begins to rain on your ship, but you begin to push away from this mounting storm.
She can control the weather.
You get the sense that whatever ritual you began once you felt safe, she completed. And a new storm is being summoned.
Oh my.
Over the diver's grave.
Oh shit.
You
We
would
could
have
have
sunk.
sunk our ship.
You would have sunk our ship.
We would have been walking for a long time.
All of that. As to
Or
why are there
at least there would have been a hell of
Why
a
are
skill
there
challenge to
fucking
make
ships
it
on the bottom of the ocean?
a hell of a skill challenge to get the Squall Eater out of the center of that storm.
Wow.
Oh.
And so as you just barely skirt the outside of this growing storm with enough foresight and speed to not be caught in the brunt of it.